started recording. Okay, so let me show you once again. I have one flow diagram. um, 1 minute, I will show you. So that you can understand betterly. Just give me a minute. Okay, so you are able to view my screen, this complete procurement cycle, right? So this is the complete flow diagram. Okay, it begins with the PR process. Okay, you can see you can either directly create purchase order or you can create with the purchase requisition. It depends on how the business flow. Like for example, there are some industries, they will not create purchase requisition, they will directly create purchase order. Okay, like for example, retail, they do not create any purchase requisition. The main reason is, if you go with the purchase requisition, there will be a bidding process and it's a time consuming process. Okay, so in retail industry, what they will do, they will immediately select the vendor and they will directly create the purchase order. Why? Because they know the what items they are purchasing from which vendor. Okay, so that was the reason they directly create purchase order. For example, if it is a service industry, like for example, if it is any manufacturing industry, so what they will do, they will go for the bidding process, in the sense they will go along with the purchase requisition. RFQ process is mandatory for them. Okay, so why it is mandatory? Why? Because they want to go with the open market and they need to finalize the vendor who are expert in this particular industry. Okay, like for example, uh, some X company is there. Okay, they want to implement Microsoft Dynamics. Okay, so they want to implement this software, procurement cycle, procurement module they want to implement. So what they will do, X company will raise the purchase requisition as they want to implement Dynamics. Okay, so there will be a vendor, like for example, there may be a list of vendor, like for example, Global ITS, S3 Infotech. Okay, Microsoft. Okay, and Yes Technologies, Cognizant, Wipro. These are the vendors. Okay, so for these vendors, X company will share the request for quotation. Okay, so once they share the request for quotation, and they will submit their bid along with the price. This is the price for the implementation, this is the price for the consultation, this is the price for the licensing. Okay, so like that they will share, and based on that, procurement user will do the scoring. Okay, the send process. After send process, we will get the reply from the vendor, and based on that, we will select one vendor, and that acceptation vendor will be go back to the purchase requisition, and if any workflow is there, it will be completed, and it will automatically release to the purchase order. So up to here we will see first, then we will go to the rest of the cycle. Okay, so let me go to the our instance. This is the trial instance. Okay, so to create the purchase requisition, there are the mandatory thing which need to be there. Like for example, if the user is available but he's not able to create the purchase requisition, so these kind of issues you will face at the time of you are using the supporting and supporting time, or if you are implementing the first time. So there are some procurement user, okay, they don't have access to creation of purchase requisition. So these kind of issues you will face. For that you have to make sure whether that person whether that user has the person is mapped. That is one. For that you will go to the first, like for example, system admin. Okay, under system admin, under users. Okay, like for example, I'm the new person and I want to create the purchase requisition. So if I want to create purchase requisition, if I don't have access, what has a consultant, procurement consultant or SCM consultant, what he has to do? First he will come to this particular form and he will search for that particular user. Like for example, at here I am searching with for my user, that is, so this is my user. This person name should be mapped. Okay, if this person name is not mapped, okay, you have to map. For that, what you do, you will click on this particular username, user ID. Okay, and at here this person name will be editable and drop down filter will become, and you will update. Like for example, let me copy this particular name, I will show you. Okay, so let me go to maintain version. So if I map wrong, so I need to delete it, right? So I'm going over here, maintain version, delete, yes, save it, and you can come back. So now you can see when I open this particular form, I don't have person is mapped. If this person is not mapped, you cannot create the purchase equation. So this is the first step. You need to make sure the person is mapped or not. Okay, so you can click on this particular drop down and you can search by their name. Like at here I am searching with that particular name and I have selected it. Okay, so this is the first where you have to make sure whether the person is mapped or not. The second and most important thing, whether we have given the purchase requisition permission. For that you have to go to the procurement sourcing module. Okay, under setup we have the policies, purchase requisition permission. Okay, so basically these are already covered in last session, so I am re-explaining you so that you can aware about that one. So at here the person name what we have mapped against that particular user, you have to filter with that particular person name. Like for example, at here I filter with this particular person name. Okay, preparer, it's already there. Preparer can be and more against each individual requester. So at here what do you mean by preparer and requester? Okay, so preparer is nothing but who is creating the purchase requisition. Requester is nothing but who is requesting to prepare this particular PR. Like for example, we have multiple departments, like we have finance department, we have HR department, we have uh, internal audit department, corporate risk department. Okay, so we have different departments. Okay, so all the department doesn't have access to create the purchase requisition. So the respective department users are the requester and you are the preparer. So that is the main difference between requester and preparer. You being a procurement user, he can be part of preparer and as well as requester, both can be done. Okay, now you can see by preparer my ID is already mapped. Okay, if I change to request star, in request star, okay, you can add multiple legal entities. Like for example, if this particular preparer must be create in respective legal entity, like for example, he should able to create only for respective legal entity. Like for example, I want to create only for US MF, so I will update the legal entity over here. Okay, USMF, and effective from which date, that is the thing which you can map. Okay, and other than that we have operating unit. Operating unit over here is nothing but the department, for which department is going to prepare. Like for example, if I click on add in operating unit, and you can see the receiving operating unit drop down button will be enabled, and at here you will select the departments. Like for example, I have selected finance, and I have selected the IT department, and I am selecting the legal. Okay, I have selected 3 departments, and preparer also I am adding my name so that I can showcase you. I am the preparer, I am the requester at here currently in time being. So I just clicked on save. So these are the 2 main important things which you need to make sure for creation of purchase requisition. The third important thing is security role. Security role we will discuss at the end of all the complete business process flow. At the end of the session we will discuss about the security role. Okay, but the main process wise, these two are main important key elements to create the purchase requisition. Okay, so I have clicked on save. Now for creation of purchase requisition, where we have to go? For that we have to go to the procurement sourcing module. Under procurement sourcing module, we have purchase requisition, all purchase requisition. Okay, now for creation of purchase requisition I will click on new. Okay, so there is workflow is there, so let me quickly disable the workflow. So for each module they will be have certain workflows. So if you want to activate and deactivate, that we can do it from the setup. You can see procurement sourcing workflow, you can go over there, so you can find the list of active work, all the workflows over here which is created. So at here we are going to create the purchase requisition. So I will select the purchase requisition version, and I will make as inactive. Okay, I will show you how to create the purchase requisition workflow in next session. So let's focus on today's complete end-to-end process. Okay, so let me go back to the all purchase requisition. Okay, so if I click new, there will be no workflow. For older one it will be there, as they have created it during the purchase requisition when the workflow is enabled. So I will click on new. Yeah, any questions? Okay, so at here I will give the description as for this particular purchase requisition. Then మీకు implementation. Okay, and I will click on OK.